What's going on, fellas? I'm posting this video for all you G37 enthusiasts out there and for anyone whose car has brakes on it, so that's quite a bit. Basically what happened was I recently noticed my car was squeaking after I would take off from a stoplight and occasionally as I would slow down without even touching the brakes. So I got the infrared gun out and took some temperature readings of my rotors and was shocked to find that 3 of my rotors were at 101 to 105 degrees, and one of them was 600 degrees. So, not cool. So basically what that means is that I had a locked up back caliper and that I was roasting the grease out of my bearings, which would have inevitably led to a wheel bearing failure. So it all started when I purchased a set of brakes offline. I'm going to leave a link somewhere of where not to buy brakes. Because this company sent me a new set of brake pads and rotors, but no accessories, the little polished stainless steel clips and all that. Those things are very important when it comes to the lubrication of your brake system. When you let your foot off the brake, atmospheric pressure does play a slight role in removing that piston from the caliper. So if your system's seized up just a little bit, the brakes are not going to let go. For example, that minor squeak that I heard on my car was because my back caliper was locking up, and I had to take the whole thing apart, and you're going to see in this video what that looks like. And if you hear your car's brakes squeaking ever, you might want to get an infrared gun out because you are losing gas mileage as well. I also noticed that I had a loss in gas mileage, a slight loss. So if you've got 4 brakes that are doing this, I mean, you can really see where your gas mileage can get eaten up by something like this. And because of the nature of brake pads and the rotor interface, the nature of that interface, they can stick a little bit and your car will have no noticeable effects of the brakes really. I mean, but it'll still drag on the vehicle, heat your rotors up, burn the grease out of your bearings, and cause a lot of damage to the car eventually. So this brake set had to be taken apart twice in the 1-year limited warranty that was depicted on this website. I'm going to try and find the website where I bought these brakes. It was off Amazon. And you'll be able to see in the condition of these rotors that they were kind of an ornamental grade rotor. They looked really nice. They were supposedly corrosion resistant, but just a big Chinese ripoff. Okay guys, here it is. This is the website link that I used to buy these pads. I want to point out immediately that those are counterfeit Chinese ceramic brake pads. Those are not real ceramic pads. Yeah, they peppered a little ceramic in there so they could lie to you legally, but magnets do not stick to ceramic pads. Additionally, don't we all typically buy ceramic pads because we don't want brake dust all over our rims? I mean, if you've got nice looking rims on a car, isn't it a little stupid to buy cheap pads for rims like that and it's just going to make them dirty? So I thought, you know, I'll spring for the extra money on these pads, and this is what I get. I get ripped off from this company, so I don't know who these guys are. Try and figure this out here. Okay, here they are. Power Sport. Quality brake performance. So, now the fact that they sold me these brake pads without the accessory clips and stuff, the salesman told me, oh, well, sir, our customers have often told us that they don't need that stuff, so we just quit sending it. Like, yeah, like when's the last time you got done doing a dirty-ass brake job and then decided, you know what, I'm going to get on the phone and call these people back and tell them, you know those accessories you sent me that I should have swapped out so my brakes don't stick? Yeah, I didn't even need those, man. You shouldn't even send those out. Yeah, get the... So, these will look like this, all chrome and shiny, for about 2 months. Then this part here just starts getting rusted to hell. Well, let's go check it out. Well, fellas, here's these rotors 1 year later. Here's the brake pads. The brake pads are still okay after a year. However, because that company did not send me new clips and parts, I've had to take my brakes apart and clean them. I put a little bit of grease on there, being worried about the clips being old, and I think that may have made it worse. I don't think it's a good idea to grease these surfaces at all, even with high temp grease. My brakes just seem to be jamming up a little bit, or not releasing all the way and squeaking a little bit. But if you're considering buying these rotors, this is what they're going to look like in a year. They're just not protected well at all. In my opinion, they should have lasted a little longer. They looked like this way sooner than a year, so for them to sell those as some kind of ornamental high performance rotor, yeah, it's just like it's a really cheap coating they have on there. Definitely not a product I'll be purchasing again. But if you're interested in buying them, this is what they're going to look like. If you're having problems with your brakes squeaking on a G37 or any other car for that matter, I did find one of the problems on my car that made it happen. This little ring is inside of this rubber grommet that sticks inside of that hole on my brakes on the caliper, and it was seized up just enough to make my pads not relieve from the rotor. So I'm going to have to clean this up and lubricate it. It just didn't have any grease on it, and this thing was jammed in place. When I took it out, the whole thing popped out. This isn't supposed to come off. So if you hear a squeak when you take off from a stoplight, it's not always the feelers. If your brake pads are still in good shape but you're still squeaking, it may be this little slide here, because the brake caliper slides on this rail. In my case, it was not. It was jammed in place by corrosion. You have to properly grease these with high temp grease when you do your brakes, and I somehow forgot this one apparently, or I just didn't grease it at all with the right grease. Yeah, if your brakes can't do this, they're gonna squeak. That's got to be able to slide really easily. You got to grease that up good. I even polished these pieces up with steel wool when I'm done, and that should stop the squeak.